Breakups are never easy, but when they happen on camera, they hit differently. There's no privacy, no time to process emotions alone, and no filter between pain and the outside world. Instead, everything unfolds in real time, raw and unedited. As arguments escalate, truths come out, and relationships collapse in front of witnesses or sometimes even millions of viewers online. From emotional confrontations to shocking public meltdowns, these moments blur the line between private heartbreak and public entertainment. In this video, we're diving into 5 of the most disturbing couple breakups ever caught on camera, where love didn't just end, it unraveled in the most intense way possible. What you're about to see is emotional, unpredictable, and deeply uncomfortable to witness unfold.
We are broken up. Liza broke up with me 6 months ago. It's healthy for us to continue to be together. For now.
Only time can heal, or you have to love yourself before you can love anybody else. Kind of stuff. I didn't know those were real.
One of the most unforgettable breakup moments in internet history came from YouTube power couple David Dobrik and Liza Koshy. And it didn't happen behind closed doors. It unfolded right in front of millions of viewers who had followed their relationship from the very beginning. When they uploaded a video simply titled "We Broke Up," fans expected a lighthearted explanation, or maybe even a joking tone to ease the news. Instead, what they got was something far more raw, unfiltered, and emotionally overwhelming than anyone was prepared for. The kind of moment where humor slowly fades, emotions start slipping through, and every pause feels heavier than the words themselves, leaving viewers watching a real heartbreak unfold in real time. At the start, everything feels almost normal for a David and Liza video. The energy is playful, the jokes come quickly, and there's even a sense of comfort in how naturally they interact, like nothing has changed. For a moment, it almost tricks the viewer into thinking this is just another fun update from a beloved internet couple, but as the video progresses, that illusion slowly starts to crack. The laughter begins to feel forced, the pauses stretch a little longer, and the mood shifts in a way that's hard to ignore. Then comes the moment that changes everything. They reveal that they actually broke up months earlier. Not recently, not impulsively, but long before the video ever went up. That detail hits differently because it shows just how long they had been carrying this emotional weight while still performing online, still smiling for the camera, and still creating content for an audience that never suspected anything. What makes the situation even more intense is the way the emotions start to spill through, despite their attempts to stay composed. Liza steps away from the frame at one point, and when she returns, her face is visibly tear-stained, her voice struggling to stay steady as she tries to put feelings into words that don't really exist for moments like this. She talks about growth, healing, and not being in the right place emotionally, phrases that feel too real and too fragile to be scripted. Meanwhile, David tries to hold the space together, speaking about how much he still respects and admires her, calling her one of the most genuine people he has ever known, even as he processes the fact that their shared chapter has come to an end. The most unsettling part for viewers wasn't drama or conflict, it was the silence between the words, the awkward pauses where neither of them could fully explain something so personal, while knowing millions were watching. It became clear that this wasn't just a breakup video. It was two people trying to navigate grief in real time while being aware of the audience watching every second. In hindsight, what made this moment so powerful and so disturbing to many was how it exposed the emotional cost of living life in front of a camera. A private heartbreak was turned into public content, and millions of fans weren't just witnessing the end of a relationship, they were watching the emotional unraveling of two people who had built their love story in the same space where it ended.
I'm done. I broke up with you. I'm done.
What?
After spending days carefully building the perfect cup pyramid, one guy thought he was finally ready to show off the result of his patience, precision, and pure dedication. Every single cup had been placed with almost obsessive care, stacked one by one into a structure that represented hours of effort, focus, and pride. It wasn't just a pile of plastic cups anymore, it was something he had built, something he had invested time and energy into, something he wanted to share in a light-hearted moment. But what was supposed to be a proud reveal quickly turned into something he never saw coming. In just a few seconds, everything collapsed. His girlfriend, standing nearby, suddenly and casually kicked the entire pyramid over without even a second thought. There was no warning, no hesitation, no sense of what it meant to him in that moment. The sound of plastic crashing echoed sharply through the room as the entire structure disintegrated instantly, cups flying in every direction, scattering across the floor like nothing they had ever meant anything at all. At first, he didn't react, not immediately. It was like his mind froze, trying to process what his eyes had just witnessed. The silence after the crash felt heavier than the noise itself. Then came the slow realization, the disbelief, the frustration building behind his expression as he looked at what used to be hours of careful work, now reduced to a mess on the floor. You could almost feel the shift in the atmosphere the moment the energy changed from playful to uncomfortable, from fun to something far more serious. She, on the other hand, didn't seem to fully grasp the impact of what she had done. She stood there with a casual attitude, almost as if it were just a harmless joke meant to get a reaction. But for him, it wasn't funny, not even close. Because in that instant, it stopped being about cups. It became about something deeper: effort, respect, boundaries. The feeling of having something you care about dismissed in a split second without a second thought. And that's when the tension finally snapped into words. "I'm done. I'm done. I broke up with you." The words came out suddenly, sharp and final, like they had been sitting there waiting for a reason to escape. The air went still, the kind of silence that follows a moment so unexpected it almost doesn't feel real. She turned to him in shock, laughing nervously at first, as if assuming it was a joke, asking if he was serious, trying to pull the moment back into something lighter, something reversible. But there was no going back. He didn't laugh. He didn't soften. The frustration, embarrassment, and disbelief all came together in a single, steady response. "Yes, I'm serious." And just like that, what started as a simple prank turned into a breaking point. A careless kick, a shattered pyramid, and a few seconds of thoughtless action had escalated into something neither of them expected: a relationship ending in real time, over a moment that could never be taken back, replayed forever as the point where everything changed.
Goodbye! We're over!
It started as a normal group dinner, laughter drifting across the table, plates being passed around, glasses clinking, and conversations flowing effortlessly like nothing in the world could disrupt the moment. To everyone else, it was just another night out with friends, but nobody at that table realized that beneath the surface, something was already breaking. This man had been sitting quietly among them, but his silence didn't match the energy around him. There was a tension in the way he moved, a subtle unease in the way he kept looking down, then away, then back again, like he was replaying something in his head over and over. The kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful, it feels heavy. And as the minutes passed, that weight only seemed to grow. Then, without warning, everything changed. He suddenly stood up. The sound of his chair scraping against the floor cut through the laughter instantly. Conversations died mid-sentence. Heads turned one by one as confusion filled the room. At first, people thought it was a joke. Maybe he was about to make an announcement. Maybe it was a playful outburst meant to get attention. But the energy in his face said something different. This wasn't funny, not even close. And then he spoke. He announced it bluntly, loudly, and without hesitation. His girlfriend had cheated on him. For a moment, the entire table froze. It was like the words had landed, but nobody knew how to respond to them. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was loaded. Confusion turned into shock. Shock turned into awkward glances. A few nervous laughs broke out, the kind people use when they don't know what else to do in an uncomfortable moment. Someone even asked if he was serious, almost hoping it wasn't real. But he didn't smile. He didn't soften it. If anything, repeating it made it heavier. She cheated on me. This time, it wasn't just an announcement, it felt like a release, like something inside him had been holding on by a thread and finally snapped. The atmosphere around the table shifted completely. What had been a normal dinner seconds ago now felt like a scene nobody was supposed to be watching, yet everyone was trapped inside it. People shifted in their seats, unsure whether to intervene or pretend it wasn't happening. The awkward laughter faded quickly, replaced by silence again, this time more uncomfortable than before. Every second that passed made the moment feel even longer, like time itself had slowed down just to make everyone feel it more. And then came the final break. He stepped down from his chair, slowly, deliberately, like he had already decided what came next, and nothing in that room could change it. Without looking at anyone, without waiting for a response, he turned and walked away from the table. The sound of his footsteps faded, but what he left behind didn't. The room exploded into murmurs, confusion, disbelief, awkward commentary. People trying to process what they had just witnessed in real time. Some laughed out of shock. Some stayed silent. But nobody went back to eating. The dinner was over the moment he stood up. And just like that, a simple night out with friends turned into something no one would forget. A raw, unfiltered breakdown in the middle of an ordinary evening, where personal heartbreak didn't stay private. It became the center of the entire room.
We are over! I hope that you choke on a piece of concrete and literally go to hell. I will see you in hell, you asshole, you liar, you manipulator, you goddamn witch!
It started as what seemed like a normal moment among friends, laughter floating through the room, people half listening to conversations, phones being checked, drinks being sipped. Nothing that suggested anything out of the ordinary was about to happen. It felt safe, familiar, almost forgettable. But then she picked up the phone, and in an instant, the entire energy of the room shifted. At first, her voice was controlled, tight, sharp, but still held together like she was trying to keep everything contained. You could tell immediately this wasn't a casual call. Something had already gone wrong on the other end. Something that had hit a nerve she couldn't ignore anymore. Her friends noticed it too. The laughter didn't stop instantly, but it faded. Heads slowly turned. Conversations dropped in volume as people started to pay attention without even realizing it. The tension began to build in layers. Her tone changed first, then her pace, then the volume. Each sentence seemed to pull her further away from calm and closer to something heavier, something emotional and volatile. Whatever was being said to her wasn't just upsetting her, it was breaking through whatever restraint she had left. The room, once relaxed and noisy, now felt tight, uncomfortable, like everyone was waiting for something they couldn't stop. Then it escalated completely. Her voice cut through the space, louder now, sharper, filled with frustration, disbelief, and something deeper hurt that had turned into anger. She paced slightly as she spoke, gripping the phone tighter, as if holding it was the only thing keeping her grounded. Every word coming through the speaker seemed to push her further over the edge, and at this point, there was no pretending everything was fine anymore. The calm was gone. What replaced it was raw emotion, too intense to filter, too powerful to control. Her friends weren't just watching anymore, they were witnessing it. The shift from normal conversation to emotional collapse was happening right in front of them, in real time, with no warning and no pause button. And then, in the heat of everything boiling over, it snapped. Her voice rose to its peak, shaking with intensity as she finally let it all out. She declared it without hesitation she was done. Done with the conversation, done with the excuses, done with whatever cycle had led them to this point. The words came fast, almost tripping over each other, like once the dam broke, there was no stopping what came out next. I'm done. We are over. The statement landed heavily in the room, but it didn't stop the storm. It only made it worse. The anger didn't fade. Instead, it expanded. Her words turned sharper, more painful, more personal. Accusations poured out alongside emotion, each sentence carrying the weight of everything that had been building long before this phone call ever started. It wasn't just about what was said in that moment. It was everything behind it, finally spilling out at once. Around her, her friends sat frozen. Nobody interrupted. Nobody knew what to say. It felt like stepping into something private, something they weren't supposed to see but couldn't look away from either. The kind of moment that makes a room feel smaller, quieter, heavier. The most unsettling part wasn't even the yelling itself. It was how quickly it all happened. 1 second, it was just a phone call, and the next, it had turned into a full emotional breakdown, unfolding in front of an audience that never asked to be there. No build-up that felt visible enough to prepare for it. No warning that things were about to explode like this, and when it finally ended, when her voice started to break, and the call was still ongoing, what remained wasn't just silence. It was the aftermath of something that couldn't be taken back. Because in that moment, in front of everyone watching, a relationship didn't just end quietly behind closed doors. It shattered loudly, messily, and completely in real time, leaving behind nothing but shock, discomfort, and the echo of words that could never be unsaid. These guys were in the middle of filming what was supposed to be a harmless, nerdy hand dance video, just a fun, light moment for the camera. Nothing serious, nothing unusual, just another clip for laughs. But then, something pulled them out of their focus. At first, it was just background noise, faint voices nearby that didn't seem important. But then the tone shifted. Sharp words, rising tension, the kind of argument you can't ignore even when you're trying to stay in your own world. Curiosity took over, and they slowly stopped what they were doing, turning their attention toward the source of the commotion, and what they saw immediately changed the mood. A couple was arguing just a short distance away, voices getting louder with every exchange. The energy was tense, unstable, like something that had already been boiling for a while, finally spilling over in public. The camera crew instinctively drifted closer, trying to understand what was happening, almost like they couldn't believe they were witnessing it in real time. Then, the truth came out. The girl had found out her boyfriend had been at a club the night before, and not alone. She confronted him directly, her voice filled with anger and disbelief, demanding answers he clearly wasn't ready to give in front of everyone watching. He tried to dismiss it at first, brushing it off like it meant nothing, insisting the girl he was with was just a friend, like it was something that could easily be explained away. But she wasn't having it. Every excuse he gave only made the situation worse. You could feel her frustration building with every word he spoke, every attempt to downplay what she had seen. The more he tried to act like it was nothing, the more the tension exploded between them. And then, it reached a breaking point. She snapped, calling him out directly, her voice shaking with anger as she reminded him exactly what she had seen the night before. The denial, the dismissiveness, it all collided in that moment. And before anyone could react, the situation turned physical. A slap cut through the argument, silencing everything for a split second as the reality of what just happened sank in. He stood there stunned, still trying to defend himself, still insisting it was no big deal, as if the moment could somehow be undone or explained away. But the damage was already done. The argument didn't just stay verbal anymore, it had escalated into something messy, public, and impossible to ignore. And for the people filming nearby, what started as an innocent video suddenly turned into something else entirely, a real-life breakdown of trust unfolding just a few feet away, where denial, anger, and betrayal collided in a moment no one expected to witness.